Hey guys, Zack here, and this is why you should watch the Misfit of Demon King Academy. Okay, so it's been a while since I've done one of these, but I figured I would go with one that I feel a lot of watchers of this channel might actually enjoy. So I decided to pick one that's a little bit similar to something I've reviewed in the past. It's very similar to One Punch Man. Which is what I'm guessing to. But yeah, the idea is actually pretty similar. It's not so much in premise, but in the idea of it. So I initially didn't start watching this because it felt like because I thought it was one of those generic guy who's way too overpowered, spouts nonsense about everything and is always right kind of deals. But then I started watching it and realized, no, it is that, but it's the most in excess of that. So yeah, it's very similar to One Punch Man, and in that it's very self-aware and takes all of the tropes that are common in stories similar to Misfit of Demon King Academy and takes them to their logical extreme. So the story follows Anos Voldigoad, the self-reincarnation of the famous Demon King of Tyranny, or at least he should be. So there's no question. As I said, it's very similar to One Punch Man, and pretty much it's the same exact principle. The main character is overpowered. So the achievements for Anos Voldigoad upon his resurrection are as follows. He beats a guy using nothing but his own heartbeat, and then resurrects him over and over and over and over and over and over until he eventually taps out. He picks up a castle, spins it on his finger like a basketball, and throws it. And then, in addition to that, on his first day of class, he basically rewrites the laws of magic. So yeah, and that's all before the end of episode 2. So yeah, that's a pretty impressive resume right off the bat, and the anime's not even half over. It's not even close to being half over. But yeah, the entire premise of Misfit Demon King Academy is that this guy is incredibly overpowered. He's a reincarnation of himself, and sure enough, he decides that in order to retake his throne, he decides to enroll in Demon King Academy, which is basically an academy designed to replace the Demon King, because he's been gone for 2,000 years and they need to get on that. So sure enough, when he shows up, he basically passes everything with flying colors, and throughout the entrance exam, he befriends a girl named Misha Necron, who winds up being his first friend upon him reincarnating. And sure enough, they immediately hit it off. Misha, for reasons that are explained in the story, but in any case, she's the first friend that he makes upon reincarnating. But there is a bit of an inherent problem as soon as he reincarnates and decides to rejoin society and try to reclaim his throne. The big thing being, nobody knows who Anos Voldigoad is. He's this big guy of legend, so you would think he would be a bit more known and a bit more recognized when he finally reincarnates. But no, that's the big plot twist of the thing, and that's the whole mystery of it. Somebody, and it's not stated who in the anime yet, but somebody basically rewrote the laws of rewrote time to replace Anos Voldigoad with an imposter, so the wrong Demon King of Tyranny has been passed down through legend instead of him. And sure enough, when he meets one of his older subordinates and Misha's ancestor Ivas Necron, Ivas doesn't know who Anos Voldigoad is, and he should. So it's clear that there's a bit of a conspiracy there. It's clear that somebody has messed up time, replaced Anos with an imposter, and have also erased the memories of all of his subordinates so that they no longer remember Anos. So basically what happens is that Anos now has to unravel this mystery with Misha and her sister Sasha by his side, who he eventually befriends by the end of episode 2, and fully befriends by the end of episode 4. But the main thing is that he has to now unravel the mystery of why he's not as famous as he is, and he has a bit of a problem, because overpowered as he is, there's also a second underlying problem. That there's actually two factions within the school that he's now attending. So there's the purebloods, who are pure-blooded demons, and Sasha is one of them. And then there's the hybrids, and Anos and Misha are to both part of them. So, and sure enough, the purebloods actually discriminate against the hybrids. So there's a bit of racial. Well, it's a bit of a racial allegory, but it's more or less. The purebloods basically treat the hybrids like dirt, and it's been ingrained in their society for thousands of years. So around the same time where Anos sacrificed himself and reincarnated during that time. So yeah, it's clear that Anos has a bit of an uphill struggle, because while he is overpowered to the point where he can spin an entire castle on his finger, he's going to struggle to undo racial prejudice and his own erasure from history. So he has to undo that by himself, and because again, and this should be obvious at this point, not only is he regarded as a hybrid, but he's also been deemed a misfit by the people who run the actual academy. So yeah, here's the thing. He was just born to his parent. His parents aren't like demons or anything. They're just normal people. But he was just born to normal people. It grew into maturity in about a month, because that's a recurring joke in this series. And he doesn't even. And sure enough, he was born to an impure vessel, more or less. He was born to just a normal everyday. He was reincarnated as a normal everyday guy who just so happened to have all his memories and powers intact. So yeah, that's the big problem. He's now has to fight racial prejudice, as well as his own legacy being erased, to actually claim his rightful place on the throne again. Which is and that's going to be a big part of the series. He's going to have to figure out a way to actually do that. And sure enough, this isn't something he can just punch away and make it go away. But so he has to figure it out as he goes, and that's going to be the entire narrative of it. He has to figure out a way to actually overcome prejudices and his own legacy being erased, and try to actually make his way back to his own throne. So yeah. And here's the big thing: the show itself may or may not be aware that the whole thing is one big joke, because as I said, it takes all the tropes and brings it to a logical extreme. At least I think I did, but it brings all the tropes to the logical extreme, and the thing is that there's no winks to the audience. There's no it's funny, because it's funny, but it's just he plays this. It's just there's a lot of things that they play straight, and it's just really funny. For example, just a recurring joke is that people constantly assume things about the hard magic system in the world, and every time something new comes along, they assume something about it, only for Anos to come in and lean in with an actually, and correct them on why they're wrong, because he's 2,000 years old and he knows this. He knows all of this. He knows everything. And also, he just casually brings up really, really stupid things that should be plainly obvious. Like, he just brings up common logic. For example, there's in one fight, one of the people he fights actually stops time, and he just doesn't flinch. He's completely fine, and he points out that even time can't stop him. So yeah. There's just several different jokes, and there's also like several things where he just says something completely stupid, but he's just like, and this is the coolest thing I've ever said. That is the primary thing. That's one of the primary things that he does. It's aware of the joke. It seems like it's aware of the joke, but it's never actually stated outright if anything is a joke. It plays everything deeply serious all the time, and it never lets on if any of it is an actual joke. So yeah, overall, as I said, the series is very similar to One Punch Man in that regard, because the entire thing is that it's a joke, but it plays everything mostly serious. or at the very least, it doesn't take anything too seriously and just kind of flies by the seat of its pants most of the time, which is kind of the point. It's like everybody else takes things seriously, but then again, the main character is somebody who can beat somebody else in one punch, so it doesn't really matter. And sure enough, Misfit Demon King Academy is in a similar vein to that. It plays everything straight, but it's very obvious that some things are treated as jokes, and it just lampshades them and moves on. So yeah. That's primarily why I think you guys should watch the Misfit Demon King Academy, because it's very similar to One Punch Man in terms of storytelling and premise. It's not like the main character's overpowered, and he also happens to be the most powerful character in existence, but he also has to undo a bunch of racial and prejudices, as well as his own legacy being erased. Similar to how One Punch Man deals with the whole idea that the hero system that created the pro heroes kind of isn't the best. There's a lot of things that work on paper, but they're not really. So yeah, they're very similar in that premise, and sure enough, it's looking to be a very good show. So if you guys do like One Punch Man, I do recommend watching the Misfit of Demon King Academy. It's very similar premise-wise, so I think you guys will enjoy it. But even then, it's also just a really good magical fantasy series, because it's just really, really funny, and it also is very interesting. So I hope you guys, after seeing this, want to actually go and check it out, because I do recommend it. It's a good show, and I hope you guys will watch this and actually, sit down and enjoy it. I did, and I think you guys will too. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter in the description below. And also, check out my Patreon in the description below as well. It's only a couple bucks a month. It really helps me out, and you guys get access to a bunch of cool perks I'm always saying thanks. So be sure to check those out in the description below as well. Also, I have a Discord, so if you want to connect with me and actually go and watch the Misfit of Demon King Academy, let me know what you guys think of it so far, if you do indeed decide to watch it after watching this. So, in any case, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!